Coming up on Mental Health Matters with Marty, join me and my co-host Tony, say hi,
Hi.
as we discuss spring into self-care. Stay tuned. What's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome to another edition of Mental Health Matters with Marty, and I am Martina Sellers, your mental health hygienist, and I am joined tonight than none other than my co-host tonight, Tony. Say hi, Tony. Hi. Yes, I'm joined by Tony tonight. She had her vaccination shots. She got 3 shots today, so she's not feeling that well. And I wanted to make sure that we are taking care. So you get to see me do kind of double duty tonight. But let me know you are listening. Let us know where you're at. Say hello. Say hello to Tony, who's co-hosting tonight. And she's kind of feeling a little bit better, but we're going to get there and everything. But we want to know to see how you are feeling and how everything is going. As always, let me say this. Mental Health Matters with Marty is a show that is intended to be a psychoeducational and educational purposes only. And we are definitely not a replacement to therapy, but we are a supplement to your mental health and wellness. So if you're experiencing any type of, I have to control that. If you're experiencing any type of crisis or medical emergency, please go to your nearest urgent care or emergency room. And with that being said, hello, everyone. Tony, you're stealing the show. Everyone is saying hello. Hello, Tony. Everyone, way back. Yes. So I'm on daddy duty as well today. See, everyone says, hi, Tony. Hi, Cherie. How are you? Yes. Hey, Prince. How are you? Yes, she's getting better. We got a slight temperature. Hi, Paula. Definitely the social media queen herself and the connector herself. Yes. There's Auntie Lisa. Say hi, Auntie Lisa. Yes, yes. And there's Miss Portia. Say hi, Portia.
Hi, Portia.
So, yes, we are there. So, you know our role as parents never changes. So, thank you. Paula says you're the most adorable co-host ever. So we're multitasking. And do we do that as parents? And as a single parents? Yes, we do. So we learn to make the best of both worlds. So in the midst of that, parenting and doing all this, we have to also make sure that we are getting our self-care in there today. So I needed to love on my Tony while also letting you know that I have not forgotten about each and every one of you. So definitely, okay, are you going to right now? Okay. Tell everyone we'll be... Yes. Okay, we're right there. Thank you, sweetie. So in doing that, listen, self-care is so important, especially, y'all. We have been locked up. We have been quarantined. We have been on stay-home orders for the past year. I tried to do a little self-care this weekend. I was in Las Vegas celebrating a cousin of mine, his 40th birthday. So in the midst of being in Las Vegas, I'm not going to lie. Hold on. Almost. Yes. Right here. Yes. So in the midst of all this, you see multitasking. Hey, yes. Real parenting. So all you parents, you understand as where Portia, I know you understand. Alana, you understand. Paula, you understand. Listen, we do these multiple things all the time. We're being a parent. You have been a cook. You have been all these things. Okay, come on. Yes, our leg is bothering us. And all these things. And we try and be wonderful hosts and career people with that. And what do? We have to learn how to multitask, but maintain self-care as well.
Well, we can't touch this.
Okay, we're not going to touch that part. I know your legs are still sore. So yes, 3 shots today. In the midst of all that, the mic is fine. This is going to be the show tonight, guys. Self-care as parents, self-care for our children, self-care for our families. Let us know what you are doing for your self-care and how you are doing that, and how things are going. with your own personal self-care. So how are you doing your self-care, and how are you managing your own self-care these days? It gets rough out there, and that's a part of life. But how do we maintain balance and self-care in life so that we're not losing our own sanity? And tell me, what are you doing for self-care? Today is just one of these shows, guys, that we're going to encourage one another and talk to each other. What are you doing for your self-care, and how are you managing your self-care with everything that you are doing in life? You know, for me, it is about balance. For me, it is about doing those things. So let's look at Portia. Portia says, I started Mondays off. I start taking Mondays off, and it allows me to ease into the week. I love that, Portia. You're absolutely right. By taking Mondays off. Cherie, I love it. Prayer and minding my business. Come on, somebody. Come on. That's absolutely right. As we do those things, as we're having prayer, and I love it, minding your own business and mindfulness. How about that, Cherie? We're going to talk about being mindful of those things, mindful of the business we need to get into, and mindful of the business we don't need to get into with that. Self-care is so important. As I share with you, I was in Las Vegas this weekend. I've been getting a message getting a massage. Thank you. Once a month. I love it. Getting a massage once a month. That is amazing. With that, working from home self-care week this week. Rebalancing myself while still being productive. And yes, prayer closet. Exactly. Those are definitely some things in there. Daily meditation, weekly massages, and monthly appointments with my therapist. Lisa, I need to get on with you with the weekly massages. Come on. That ain't in my budget just yet. I love it. Cousin Freddie, what's up? Journaling my thoughts and feelings daily helps me sort things out. I love that. And those are all wonderful things that we need to do. Alana says this, my son is with his dad this week, and I'm trying to be intentional about self-care instead of anxious that he's gone. LOL, I get that. I spend an hour a day with no phone. I love it. No nothing, just time with and for me. Alana, that's amazing. You are absolutely right. We have to do that. Spend time with ourselves. Hey, yes, Trinity, yes. Hello. Tony says, oh, she went downstairs. She abandoned me. So those things happen. You know how that goes. She's with my mother downstairs now. So self-care is so important and vital. That's why I wanted to title this episode, Spring into Self-Care. As we're going into this, thank you, Jasmine. What we have to do is make sure that we are taking care of ourselves. Even in the midst of, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, going to Las Vegas, it was crowded. I'm like, what in the heck are all these people doing here? You know, especially, y'all, we are still not out of the woods of this pandemic. We still have to make sure that we are vigilant about our self-care and about making sure we are taking precautionary measures. I was a little concerned that so many people were on yes, I was so concerned. Oh, I'm looking into the wrong camera. Thank you. I was so concerned. There were so many of us with comorbidities that we are not taking care of ourselves. And there were so many people out there who are on those walkers and those motorized vehicles. I'm concerned. And I hate to say it this way. I saw more people of color, more elderly black women and men on those. And I'm like, listen, I understand you want to get out. Maybe Las Vegas is not the safest place for you to be out right now. Maybe we need to take some time, you know, in the casino. Listen, I've seen so many people in walkers. I'm like, what? I realize Las Vegas is the oasis, but in the midst of we're just turning this corner, maybe I should have asked, were these people all vaccinated? I don't know. With that, but the cool thing is our new term is going to be when people are getting on the elevator, they were talking about, I'm vaccinated, can I jump in with you? I'm like, yes, you can, since you're vaccinated, but keep your mask on. Listen, mask was good. Did you have a good food in Vegas? Are the buffets still closed? I did have good food in Vegas. Yes, the buffets are still closed, thank God, but I still got great food at some of the restaurants. And I purposely, in my self-care, I purposely treated myself to some of the higher end restaurants that I normally would not go to. And let me tell you this, the service was absolutely great. I don't know if I'm going to ever go back to a buffet. I'm scared of people breathing on it now, and I don't want that cross-contamination, but it was so good. So I had amazing prawns and found some out-of-the-way restaurants that were not necessarily on the strip, but surrounding it and everything as well. So self-care is a positive. Dr. Sean, you are absolutely right. Self-care is a positive. And I say all that even though Vegas got very crowded and was crowded, I found quiet moments and quiet pockets because lines were long, because they were definitely trying to enforce as much of social distancing as possible. But we also have a responsibility in that self-care. I found a way to break away, to have quiet moments with myself, quiet moments with the party that I was with, so that we could have intimate moments of just fellowshipping, of just spending time together to check on each other. So I was glad that I got this amazing opportunity to spend my cousin's 40th birthday celebration with me, him, and his partner, and we had a great time just celebrating life, and that was so good. So in this self-care episode with Spring into Self-Care, I want to definitely encourage you, now that things are opening up, it is important. We've had a whole year to kind of get through, can I say it that way? This thing called this pandemic. But now I want to encourage you, let's up our self-care game. What is self-care? Self-care is making sure that you are doing those things that are necessary for your mental health and wellness. Let me say that again. Self-care is doing those things that are necessary to make sure that you are keeping the upkeep of your mental health and wellness. As we do those things, you're going to see the reciprocated benefits of those. What are you saying, Marty? What I'm saying is this. As you take care of your mind and soul, it's going to force you to start taking care of your body, so that I can now have, and I'm going to challenge us, what is your emotional intelligence? Yes. How are you doing relating with your emotional intelligence? Because too often the lack of not having emotional intelligence pushes us over the edge and causes us to make poor decisions in life. Yes, Jason, that we're having. Jason, jump on. I'm going to bring you on real quick with that. Portia, if you're available, I'm going to send you an email too. Would love to have you guys talk to me real quick. And Paula, if you're available, I'm going to send it out to you. Listen, check your emails. I would love to have this conversation. Today, we're going to have some of you come on as we can have this conversation about self-care and what that looks like. So Jason, I'm sending out the email to you, the link to you. Portia, if you're available, I'm going to send out to you. Would love to have you guys as we can talk about self-care with that, because self-care is so vitally important. And as we're going into this new normal, I don't know what the new normal, I don't know what 2021 has to hold. The one thing I know is I'm going to take care of me. Have I got a witness out there? I need someone to talk back to me. I have learned, if nothing else, this pandemic has reinforced the value and importance of taking care of me. Because if I don't take care of myself and my mental health well-being, who is going to do that? Let's put that comment back up one more time, Daryl, that Anthony was saying. Anthony says, mental health, self-care is very important and necessary. Thank you. Anthony Evans, I appreciate you, my brother. You're absolutely right. It is so important. It's okay to make yourself self-care first before you help others. Exactly. Pastor Sean, I do it from this philosophy. I cannot give you something to drink out of my cup if my cup is empty. And for all you church folks, we say it like this: Lord, fill my cup and let it overflow. I need to be feeding you from the overflow once my cup has been full and is running over. See, too often we're feeding too many people from the necessities of our own lives and not out of the overflow, out of the overextended blessings that we have. Because when I now give you from my overflow, I am then making sure that I am taken care of, because I need to be healthy. Let me say that again. I need to make sure that I am healthy before I can help you. Too often we have too many sick people that are pouring into other people, and we are pouring our sickness into other people. Let me say that one more time. Listen, I love it. I'm talking clear in here. I hear you, Dr. Sean. Come on, Dr. Tracy. How you feeling, my brother? We have to make sure that we are feeding people from a healthy point of view and not from a sick point of view. I can't feed you from what I am lacking. See, when I'm feeding you and giving you from my overflow, that means I have taken care of everything. Yeah, thank you, Cherie. I'm trying to. I'm taking care of everything and making sure that my needs are being met, not from a selfish point of view, but from a healthy point of view. When I am healthy, I'm going to then in turn give you healthy responses. When I am healthy, I'm going to in turn love on you in a healthy way. I'm talking now, y'all. When I am healthy, I'm going to respect you, oh my God, in a healthy way. When I am healthy, I'm going to have healthy boundaries so that our relationship remains healthy. I'm talking, when I am healthy, I can help you from a healthy point of view and not from a hurting point of view. Oh my God, we're talking now. Too many of us are helping those from a hurting point of view and not getting the necessary help because we are helping from a point of hurt, which is now not helping others, but hurting others. So we're wondering why we are all limping and not being able to help each other. Yes, too many people operate from a deficit emotionally and mentally. Listen, Gail, you are talking to me today. We are doing that. Yes, sir. Trey, good to see it. Come on, somebody. I feel like I'm in church in here today, y'all. And I was struggling before. I'm going to be honest. I was telling Daryl, the Mac in the back, who's controlling all the stuff. He don't like to be seen. I'm going to pull him on screen one day, y'all. And I was telling Daryl, I said, I'm struggling today because I want to just have this conversation with my audience today. And I don't want to be deep, but I want to kind of do a check-in to see how you are doing. And so as we're doing this check-in, I'm finding that it's been really good to do that and to see how you are doing. Oh my God, Jason T. Mahoney, you are amazing to me. Let's put up Alana's comment with that. It says, yes, and this self-care leads to self-love, which leads to, Alana, come on, which leads to healing. And we cannot get that outwardly. We need to work inwardly first. Alana, come on, somebody. So I'm so glad to have joined with me. I'm so glad that you are available. None other than the motivator himself, Jason T. Mahoney.
What's going on, Marty? How you doing?
I'm wonderful, Jason. See, I should have called you earlier. I don't know. I've been caught up in some other things, man. How you doing? How's North Kakalaki treating you?
North Kakalaki is good. The weather's nice. It was kind of chilly tonight, but just enjoying life, man. Just staying, getting motivated.
Stay motivated. That's what I'm talking about. Stay motivated, my brother. Definitely. And thank you for coming on at the last minute. I just kind of said, come on in, man. And with that, what I'm switching again. Here we go. I'm back on track. Don't play with me. It takes me a minute, but we playing tonight. Man, what are you doing? How are you, one? And how's your self-care going?
Gotcha. I'm actually doing fantastic, but thank you for bringing me on. But I'm doing really fantastic, man. And self-care is so important. I made a decision to tell people no.
Good. Yes.
So to tell people yes. That because we've been conditioned to be servant. We've been conditioned to neglect ourselves and focus on other people's stuff, and then we leave ourselves behind, and then we're killing ourselves to save somebody else to help them with their dreams. So for me, in this particular quarter of my life, I made the end of the first quarter of the 2021 year is I made the decision to tell some people no. And tell some people to say, hey, Tuesday was our day. You showed. So no, you can't take up my Wednesday because my Wednesday is for me. And so I think we have to teach people that self-care is not selfish, but it's what you need to live. And I know, and you said
That's
something
right.
earlier about spirituality in the church. If we can go to the scripture, I got to love myself first before I can love somebody else. So I got to take care of me before I can take care of you. But we have to shift our mindset.
That's so good. Let's get a couple of, I love these comments. Keep the comments coming in. Curtis, so good to see you. Curtis doing some amazing work out here in Southern California. And so Curtis says, to be honest, I'm still working on self-care, but I'm working on it. Curtis, thank you for your honesty. Keep working on that. Yes, that's Absolutely. Right. Paula says this, I find that just being able to say no helps with self-care. Now let the people in the back of the balcony say amen to that.
Absolutely.
Too.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's good. That's right. Self-care is not selfish. Love it. Trey, where you been at? I've been missing you. You used to be like #1 fan of Mental Health Matters with Marty. Paula has taken that spot. But Trey, hope all is well for you, man. And congrats on all the amazing work that you're doing out there as well. And let's go back to a comment that Freddie, and then I want to do one that Cherie, she said that Freddie said this, yes, it's a complete sentence.
Right.
You can say yes, and by the same token, Cherie said no is also a complete sentence as well. No is right. And sometimes our self-care says knowing when to say yes and knowing when to say no.
And I'm sorry, the no and no. So you got KNOW and NO. So you have to know when to say no.
Yes.
So know when your no is no.
Yes. And then Portia said it this way. She says, no is very empowering. Saying no is empowerment. Yes, because we don't have the responsibility to make sure that we heal and say yes to everyone.
Exactly.
Let me say that again. That's not being selfish. But in this time, Jason, I've learned that, listen, people will get their needs met whether you do it or not.
And then also people will depend on you to meet their needs while you're killing yourself to help them meet their needs. I said a quote one time, you fail because I let go of your hand when I realized you were pulling me down. And so you have to be okay with letting somebody fall when they're pulling you down. That's self-care, to know when to let that person go. And it can be a business partner. It can even be a family member or a friend. But anything that is disrupting your peace, which is self-care, Keisha Cole said it the best, let it go.
Let it go. And Disney made a whole other song out of it. Said, let it go, because the cold never bothered me anyway. And the cold can be, look at God. The cold can be interpreted from the coldness that I feel from you because I told you no. But in that, I have to make sure, here's what we have to make sure, Jason, that in my saying yes, have I enabled you from doing something that you could have done on your own? And I'm not in the habit and even in the business of enabling people. And too many people we have enabled. Let's look at this. It says, let's tell the truth. Sometimes you just don't want to be bothered. It be that way. I know that's right. Sometimes you're absolutely right. You don't want to be bothered. And guess what? Sometimes it's okay to say, you know what? At this moment, I don't have the time or capacity to do that.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I think what happens is we feel that we're hurting people's feelings when we do that. So for example, I think Spence said, he just put, you can put that comment back up, what Spence said about don't want to be bothered. It's okay, because if you worked all day and you've done everything you need to do for you and you're tired and someone's calling you to interrupting your self-care and you're being bothered, it's okay to say, you know, at this moment, I don't have the capacity to help you in this moment. And that's an easier way. And I think Portia, someone said no.
Yes. And there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't have the mental, emotional, or wellness capacity right now because my cup is not full. And I need to take care of this again. Again, we need to learn how to feed from the overflow. Come on. And how does that work? When you are intentional about your self-care. Oh, see, thank you. A request without the option of denial is a demand. Marcel, you trying to go deep on me. I love it. Say, let it go. I can't hold me back anymore. Liz, turn away. She quoting the song.
Christian pulled it out.
Right. She made it like in scripture.
I've learned that
go ahead, read that.
Justify. Absolutely, you do not have to justify your no because it's yours.
Right.
You do not have to justify that. Even in going back to what Marty said about the overflow, and I always think about the my friend Nicole. She always talks about the salsa and the teacup, and so the salsa, I can share the salsa with you, but the cup was meant for me.
Ooh,
and so anything, the cup was meant for me.
Ooh, wait.
The salsa is for you.
Go back to that, because many of us have. I don't know about you. Do you have a particular cup that you like drinking from?
Absolutely. I got a nice teacup I drink out every single morning, and it's a gigantic teacup, right? And so when I put it on the machine to for the tea or what have you, sometimes it will overflow, right? The overflow, I just scrape that off the top, and now I got a full cup of tea. Now, if somebody want to come along and get the leftovers, that's for them. But my big cup is for me because I did the work to get the cup of tea.
Right. And it's okay to sometimes say, now here when we say this, is not from a selfish mode, but it's from making sure that I'm in, you better preach, Jason, leaving Daryl in the back, having control of the banners. Listen, and y'all, we're here to encourage you today. I'm so glad that Jason T, the motivator. Listen, he always stay ready. See, when you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And sometimes in staying ready, come on, I'm trying to help someone. In staying ready, you have to know when you have to. I'm trying not to go church. When Jesus did a great healing of a multitude, he would quietly slip away. What was he doing? He was getting his cup filled again so that he could pour back from the overflow back into the disciples. And sometimes we have to know when to steal away to get our cup refilled so that we can now operate from the overflow with that.
And if you want to go to church, I'm gonna take you to church for a moment. When you were talking just now, for my church people. So when you talk about self-care, I think about the lady with the issue of blood. And so she had gone to all these people to get what she needed for her self-care. And so what happened was when she made the decision to push herself to get to her self-care, because again, the people already were saying she was nasty and all those things about her, but she made the decision to say, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get to my self-care.
She pressed her way.
And the thing about pressing your way, and she got, and I'll say this quote, she won because she touched the one. So she made a decision to press her way. So she had to touch all those people to get to her self-care. So in other words, you may have to go through a crowd of people and lots of circumstances and situations and hurt some people's feelings just to get to your self-care. And when she got to her self-care, instantly she got it because she made a decision. So you have to shape your mindset to make the decision to say, regardless of what other people say, do or think about me in this moment, I got to go after my self-care because I got to touch the one so I can get my one. So go get your self-care, people. It's okay.
Do not make me throw my computer at you through this internet. But what I like more importantly with this, y'all, and I can't help it. Just church is all in me. I try to be professional and dignified, but I can't help it. With that, what I also heard, Jason, was this: in pushing through our self-care, there are going to be times when you're going to be talked about. There's going to be times when other people step on you. And in fact, everyone might look down on you. Come on, because you are crawling into get your touch. You're crawling into to get your needs met. And sometimes in pressing your way, that people might trip over you. You might make other people trip along the way, not intentionally, because the need is so great. With that, until you reach out and touch out, it's okay that people might step on you.
And
it's
how many people, I'm sorry, go ahead, because this is good. No. How many people have died? Brain aneurysm and all of those things because they neglected to take care of themselves, especially Black men. We don't want to go to the doctor. We want to hold in our emotions. We want to do all of those things, and we neglect. Really, Daryl. We neglect our self care, and so we have to make the decision to say, in order for me to live, I have to take care of myself. And you may have said this earlier, but on the airplane, they tell you before you put the oxygen on somebody else, let me put it on
yourself.
That's not being selfish. I need to breathe.
Because here is the thing is in self-care, if we're going to use that analogy now, come on, you pushing me, Jason. See, I should have had you on here earlier. And before I can help someone else, I have to help myself so that I make sure that in helping you, I'm not losing oxygen myself. Because if we both are losing oxygen, we're not going to be in our right frame of mind. Come on, I'm talking to someone and y'all not hearing me. We're not going to be in our right frame of mind. So in the process, I risk not only you dying, but I risk killing myself because I've not first taken care of myself. Ooh, now see, that's our next book.
And then, Marty, and if we want to stay, with the lady with the issue of blood, I'm getting a lot of downloads right now. So if I can use my spiritual imagination.
Use it.
After she got her self-care, right? She got the healing that she needed for her whole entire life. So can you imagine after she got that self-care, she went around and told everybody, when I made the decision to do what I need to do to take care of myself, here are the results. And if you think about people that may be of an older age, but they look 25 and they can do things that a 25-year-old can do, that's the evidence of self-care. So the evidence of her self-care is she had an issue for so many years. She made the decision to get her self-care, and look at her now. So you got people, you have to take care of yourself.
Yes, because she then had the capacity and the ability to help more because she helped herself first. So then she had the strength, the physical, the mental, the psychological, and the spiritual to do the work and do it wholly and from a healthy point of view and not from a hurting point of view at all. And she was better received. Come on, Dr. Sean says, be sure that the person you are helping is your assignment. Not every person needs your help. They just desire it. Exactly. But see, that comes from another point of view as well. So she told everybody, come see a man. Come, Paula, Pastor Sean, put me in B flat, please, because we're about to do a book. Yes, the healing is sought, and he is given all the glory into testimony. Right. With that, we have to make sure, and that's why I'm so glad we're saying self-care. And let this be, we're challenging you to do some self-care this week. I don't care what the self-care is. We have to start healing ourselves, come on, and digging deep into our own hurts.
Exactly.
And making sure that our wounds are fixed. Now, it might leave a scar. I have a scar. I have some scars in life, but it's to remind me not to do that again. You see these scars. I got scars to remind me, one, I've healed from it and that it no longer hurts.
Exactly.
But in order for the healing to happen, I had to do the care that was necessary. I have a scar from my when I ruptured my Achilles. Now, the scar is permanent, but the healing is also permanent as well.
Exactly.
And it's to remind me to take care of that need so that I don't redo that again.
I want to go back to something I think Sean talked about not everyone is your assignment. And if I can talk to mental health professionals, counselors, teachers, all of those individuals, that we're in a helping field, and sometimes we have the mentality that we're here to save everyone. Your responsibility is who was assigned to you to make sure that you're supposed to help that person and do what you need to do. A lot of times people will see what you're doing and want to get on a bandwagon for you to help them on your goals and your desires, but they don't realize that you have to take care of self first to do what I need to do to be able to do these things. And so we have to be mindful that everybody that approaches us is not our assignment, because those people may be interrupting our self-care. And I tell people all the time, and I'm not going to say this on live because we're live, but I tell people all the time, if peace was a drug, I would be addicted.
Right.
If peace was a drug, I would be addicted. I would be strung out. Because that is self-care. And self-care, it can come in so many forms. If you want to just get in the car and drive and clear your mind. That's self-care. If you want to take yourself to the movies and go by yourself, it's self-care. Do everything you need to do to recharge yourself, because if not, you're going to end up in a traumatic situation, and then you're going to end up hospitalized or what have you. Take care of yourself.
This thing called a phone, if we don't charge it every night, and sometimes some of us have to charge it in the middle of the day, it's going to die. By the same token, we have to make sure we plug it into the source so that it gets the power. Your self-care is just that. The power you need to recharge yourself in order that you might work at your optimum capacity.
Right.
Too many of us are not working and operating on 100 because we are still trying to operate in the red of 10%.
Exactly.
And so we have to make sure that, yes, too many of us have turned, Jason, I'm glad you said that if peace were a drug, too many of us are trying to turn to drugs. Too many of us are trying to turn to alcohol. Too many of us are trying to turn to sex. Too many of us are trying to turn to other relationships. Too many of us are trying to turn to jobs. Too many of us are trying to turn to other things to replace self-care instead of experiencing self-care. See, you cannot replace that thing that you're going to need to recharge you. You have to sit on, you got to sit on the charger.
Oh, that's good right there. Sit on the charger and leave it there.
Yes. Curtis says this. Curtis says, I recently made decisions to let go of some obligations. Curtis, that's good. And responsibilities within family and business, not related to my purpose. You are speaking it. It has mentally, emotionally, and spiritually healthier for over 30 from childhood, and since my HIV diagnosis 35 years ago, I have been in survival mode. It is a lot to unlearn. Wow. Curtis, thank you for sharing that. And especially those of us who are suffering from HIV, suffering from diabetes, suffering from cancer, suffering from other things, these comorbidities or these other health issues that can. Stress is the silent killer within our community. Why? Stress because we have not taken care of ourselves. Curtis, thank you so much for sharing that very personal message with us. And y'all, let's all applaud Curtis for being so transparent and vulnerable. And the problem is, the reason many of us lack self-care because we're not willing to be vulnerable and transparent about our current condition. See, Curtis, I want to speak life into you today. Your healing is and has begun because you are willing to be transparent, vulnerable, and I'm going to say it this way, naked and not ashamed. See, we have to stand in front of the mirror of our self-reflection and deal with ourselves. Yes, thank you for your transparency and bravery, Curtis says. Thank you. Exactly. Absolutely. And we have to learn how to support one another in their transparency. Now, Curtis, thank you for shifting the atmosphere in here, because we have to learn how to be supportive and start applauding our brothers and sisters when they're saying, listen, here's where I am, but here's where I'm heading.
Right. Go ahead. And you said something about the support piece. And one piece I was going to add about self-care is that when you are transparent with yourself, then you can go into that self-care. But it's so important, who are you connected to that is pouring into you versus taken from you? And that's important when it gets to self-care, because you have to make sure that your self-care is connected to a group of people that are respecting your self-care. I have some friends now that if they call me and say, hey, you want to do this, or can you help me do this? I'll say, at this moment, I'm in chill mode, what have you. And they respect it because they understand it is my self-care. But now there are some people who are so selfish that will want to interrupt your self-care. So just like the charger, you have to know who you're connected to, because if you're not connected to the right people, they will interrupt your self-care. But you can get connected with people that will embrace and support your self-care. Then you can have a self-care group.
Yeah,
A group
come
of
on,
people getting
exactly.
up and going walking. And so who is in your circle for yourself? Who are you sharing your salsa with?
Yes, Vera and Chapel, good to see you on here tonight. Daryl, can we go to Lauren's comment that he has up? Lauren says, a lot more relationships would work out better if people really focused on self-care. You can't love someone if you're not loved, if you have not loved yourself first. And Lauren is, he's in the mortuary business. So he's, so he's speaking truth. I'm going to take Lauren's word for that, y'all. So take it from the mortuary and the mortuary that, listen, get yourself together, because so many people he is burying and funeralizing. He may not be doing the eulogy, but he's sure enough dropping them in the ground. And that may sound cruel. I don't mean it to be sound crass or not, but he's definitely laying them to rest because we have. Because we have not taken care of self-care. And that's something we have the power. I'm passionate now about this. We have the power to correct.
Right.
And if we go here real quick, Jason, and not to cut you off, listen, we have not learned how to put boundaries on certain things. See, boundaries are there to protect you. Let me say that again. Boundaries are there to protect you, to keep the good in and the bad out. And see, too often we've let down the boundaries or relaxed the boundaries, and the bad is taking over our good, and we're overwhelmed, and they're sucking the life out of us. And therefore we have nothing to serve, and definitely don't have any overflow. So we're not even taking care of our own needs, trying to help someone else. Now, I need everyone to say amen.
And Marty, I cannot come on and not talk about trauma, right?
Okay, come on, trauma. Just don't take us to slavery.
No, we're not going to do that. Not this hour of the morning.
This hour. Okay.
but you said something, and Mr. Laurent said it as well, is that it's trauma, right? So when you think about self-care and boundaries and all of those things, a lot of people lose their boundaries because of traumatic situations that they in. And so if you think about someone who did not feel loved or those type of things, so then they will relax their boundaries and just allow any old thing to love them. And so what happens is now you are neglecting your self-care because you are now allowing something or somebody in that you feel is going to fill this void because of some untreated trauma. But you have to make the decision to say, in my self-care, I'm going to heal this traumatic situation I've been through. The scars will still be there, but I want to heal the scars. And so when you think about it, traumatic situation is untreated. I no longer have boundaries. So now I'm neglecting self-care. And then now I show up at Mr. Laurent's door for me to be buried. And so when you think about the idea of halt, when you're hungry, you're angry, you're lonely, or you're tired, that's trauma. And then what happens is we'll do anything to get that hunger fed. We'll do anything to release that language.
That's good. That's good.
So we throw our boundaries out the window, and now we're neglecting self-care. So that trauma, if you haven't addressed the trauma of your childhood, you're destined to mess up somebody's adulthood.
And because of that, come on now I'm gonna still borrow the saying from our good friend and brother Danny Ross. A shout out to Danny. He's an amazing book that you need to get on Amazon called The Messages We Carry. TheMessages.net. Come on, thank you. See, The Messages We Carry, helping you rewrite the messages you carry. And in that book, it challenges us to sit and identify the negative messages that we carry in life. And those negative messages, because we have not properly processed them, we now have not sat in them. We have not processed them. And thank you for always bringing trauma up to us. Yes, breaking the cycle of codependency through self-care. See, I cannot break codependency if I don't know how to love myself. And I don't know how that self-care. Self-care is designed to teach me to love myself. Self-care is designed to teach me to identify where what I'm lacking in that moment. Self-care is designed to teach me to have some emotional intelligence. Self-care is designed to help me make a wise decision based on intellect and not emotion. Self-care is designed to take me from point A to point B. Self-care is to remind me that the best is still yet to come. Come on, somebody. That's the purpose of self-care. And too many of us are living in past care and not updating our self-care. So the message we carry is the message of hurt. The message we carry is a message of abandonment. The message we carry is a message of loneliness. The message we carry is a message of revenge. The message we carry is a message of lack of forgiveness. The message we carry is a message of I gotta hurt you before you hurt me. The message we carry is I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop. See, we have to stop the stinking thinking because the message we carry is that of the dump yard and not that of Beverly Hills. The message we carry is that of the trash can and not that of Fifth Avenue. The message we carry is that of being poor and not being rich, because the past does not define my future, because I control my future. Forgetting those things which are behind, I've got to press toward the mark. Press toward the mark of hope. Press toward the mark of healing. Press toward the mark of love. Press toward the mark of forgiveness. Press toward the mark of righteousness. Press toward the mark of self-gratification. And press toward the mark of contentment in that. So that's what I'm talking about with doing all of that. Yes.
And Marty, so many of us, at some point in our life, we may have been shattered from a lot of those things that you mentioned. And so the reality of it is you may be shattered, but you're not broken. Okay.
Yes.
And so if the shatteredness is not dealt with in self-care, you will become broken. So in other words, we may have experienced some things shattered. That means that I can still put it back together, right? And so if I can going back to church. And so I think about Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. He had a great fall. All the king horsemen and all the king men could not put Humpty Dumpty back together again. The reason because Humpty Dumpty was shattered, right? The problem is the king horsemen had tried to put him back together. So in other words, Humpty Dumpty needed to go to the king in order to get his self-care. So you have to make the decision that when I've fallen into a situation, when I'm shattered, when I'm going through all of these things, I need to make the decision not to depend on those people who can't fix me, the pastors, they can't fix me. I can't depend on my family because guess what? They may have issues and situations as well. So I need to make the decision to say, okay, I may be Humpty Dumpty. I may have been Humpty Dumpty and I may have fallen off the wall. And yes, I have these people around me that they may love me, they may like me, relationships, all those things, but they are not the people. That's right, LaRon. Stop talking to the king horsemen. They're not the people to get to my self-care. To get to my self-care, I need to go to the king. So in other words, the king has ordained some people in your life, mental health therapists, counselors, doctors, all of those people. Those are the people that you need to go to. So Humpty Dumpty could have been put back together if he had made the decision or if the horsemen had taken him to the king. Stop depending on the horsemen, people. Go directly to the king because, see, we're not going to be no more Humpty Dumptys, period.
Thank you for joining Mental Health Matters with Marty's Monday night service, and we will be passing the virtual plate around. Listen, Jason, but you're right. We are looking for others to do the work that we are supposed to do. Let me say that again. We are looking for others to do the work that only we can do, that we have to do in our own self-care time, that we have to do for those of us who are spiritual. We have to do that with the only one who can help us in all of that. And we have to stop looking for others to do the work that we are supposed to do ourselves.
And Marty, let me say this one last thing, what just got downloaded with me about Humpty Dumpty again. Also with Humpty Dumpty, right? Humpty Dumpty may have not even had any business being on that wall from the beginning because he already know that he was fragile and he was at a level that he was not supposed to be at. So sometimes in life, we position ourselves in places that we know we're not supposed to be because of a situation. I do believe with God all things are possible, but then he gives us wisdom. So in other words, Humpty Dumpty may have not even supposed to build that wall anyway. So if you look at the whole scenario, he was where he was not supposed to be, because that's not self-care. If I already know that I'm putting myself at risk, and that's not self-care. So that wasn't self-care to put myself on the wall. And then when I failed, then I called on the King Horsemen, and then they tried to put me together, but they neglected to take me to the king. So we want to even rewind in our own lives. What situation are you placing yourself in now that you know that you're not supposed to be there, because you already may be broken, you already may be fragile? So make a decision to remove yourself before you fall off the wall, because when the King Horseman comes to you, they're not going to be able to rescue you because they're the wrong people that are around you. So make the decision to go into the correct self-care place you're supposed to go into, period. Don't get on the wall.
Wow. As you were saying that, and this is taking all jokes aside with that, because you're teaching good. Too many of us are in compromised positions and in fragile places that we were not intended to be in, because we didn't take time to assess the situation, assess ourselves, and assess the escape plan. What else to say? See?
Sorry, I'm getting these downloads. So then Humpty Dumpty, I'm sorry, Marty, you invited me on. You know I'm the motivator. You invited me. So then when I still think a little bit more about Humpty Dumpty, right? So let's say Humpty Dumpty was supposed to build a wall, but it was not his appointed time to build a wall, because again, when he fell down, he was broken, he was shattered. But if he had waited in the pot a little bit longer, he would have been a solid. So when he fell off the wall, even though that outer shadow may have cracked, but the actual egg would have still been together. So sometimes we may go to our situation and we're not yet supposed to be there. So he may not even was supposed to be on the wall at a particular time. I need to give Mother Goose a call.
Oh, no, are we doing the nursery rhymes tonight? We done switch from the woman with the issue of blood to Humpty Dumpty. Now we're gonna call up Mother Goose. Just long as we call the woman with the children, had so many children. The woman that lived in the shoe, she had so many children she didn't know what to do. We're gonna leave that one alone. But Jason, you've made so many points. So if I were to put this in a podcast tonight, we got to get hard boiled. Come on. I would encourage us tonight, not Mother Goose. Listen, get where you're supposed to be. Get your self-care in. What in the Frederick Williams are we?
We having a discussion on self-care.
Self-care. That and all these analogies with that, but the whole point is, how are you doing? Right. You good, fam? Take some time for self-care. Spring into self-care this spring. Easter is coming next Sunday. And if I can say this, for those of us who are believers, it's Resurrection Sunday. And I'm going to challenge you, as you celebrate the resurrection of your new life.
Yes.
Celebrate the resurrection of your new purpose. Celebrate the resurrection of your new call of taking care of yourself. Because as you get resurrected, you will be able to resurrect others. But too many of us are trying to resurrect others from the grave and not from the sky. So you cannot help other people from positions you have never experienced yourself. Let me say that again for those who don't know. You cannot help others from positions you have not experienced and been through yourself. Now you might be able to encourage. You might be able to do a little bit of motivation.
Right.
But you cannot be fully effective. I can't teach you happiness if I've never experienced happiness myself. I can't teach you peace if I've never experienced peace myself. Because too many of us are spelling it Piece instead of Peace. I can't teach you joy if I've never experienced joy myself. And I cannot teach and fill you from an overflow in my life that never exists.
Exactly.
And that can only exist when you're coming through self-care.
Exactly.
Listen, Jason T. Mahoney, the motivator, you came on here and just wrecked this show, and I love it, love it, love it, love it. Man, you are SoBomb.com. For those who may not know Jason T. Mahoney is, the great motivator himself. Jason, how can we get in touch with you, and what can we do, and what's your closing thought for tonight?
You can get in touch with me. You can reach me on my webpage at www.jtmahoney.com, or you can just go to Facebook and type in Jason T. Mahoney, and you'll be able to find me. If I can give any words to the listening audience tonight, I would honestly encourage you to take care of yourself. Self-care is not selfish, and it is okay to say no, and know when to say no. That's all I have to say, Marty. Just self-care. You got to live. You have to.
You have to.
Life is too short.
Jason, Cherie is definitely inviting you onto her podcast. She is an amazing motivator and talking about mental health, trauma, and spirituality on the East Coast. She's on your time zone. She is amazing. Yes. Love her to death. And of course, we are so grateful to have you as always. And thank you. God bless you. Trey, so good. Hope you're doing well, my brother. Hope DMV is out there treating you. Trey is the real deal out there. Trey and I have been knowing each other for some 30 years.
Wow.
And everything when he used to live out here in California. Listen, this has been a treat tonight. And Jason, I thank you. We always want to tell you guys, listen, it is our desire that you live your best life. How do you do that? By springing into self-care. Some of the things that you can do is taking time for yourself, whether that's on a walk, whether that's changing your diet, whether that is journaling, whether that is meditation, whether that is taking an extra long hot shower or bath, whatever it's going to do to keep you grounded and to keep you mentally and emotionally sane. Our emotional intelligence is so vital in order to win this thing called life. Too many of us are suffering in silence in the shadow of shame because we are not taking the time to make sure that our personal cups are full and that we are serving from the overflow and not out of the necessity. So we thank you for supporting Mental Health Matters with Marty. Join us, in April, we have so many amazing guests coming on, as April is domestic violence and batters awareness, and we're going to be speaking, and sexual violence, that we want to be speaking about that. So we thank you. Thank you for all your comments. Please like and share this. Again, my name is Martina Sellers. I am your mental health, what did I call myself? Mental health hygienist. I had to think about that. Please check out my website at mentalhealthmarty.com. And of course, you're on Facebook or watching me from YouTube, and we love that. And please check out our podcast. If you have not checked out our podcast or become an iMatter member, please subscribe to our podcast. Those of you who are Apple listeners, please give us a 5-star rating and leave us a review for others to be encouraged by it as well. And become an iMatter member of Mental Health Matters with Marty by texting iMatter to 855-717-1272. Again, that's 855-717-1272 to get all the latest updates about your mental health journey. So as always, we don't want you to secretly suffer in silence in the shadow of shame, but we definitely want you to speak up, speak out, and live. And as always, as we close, remember to enjoy your life. Until next time. Enjoy your life.